Hello and welcome to We Women Want. Well, today we're taking a look at the world of relationships from the point of view of the women, of course, but also, this is a dynamic, changing nature. Relationships, by that very word, are dynamic and changing. What are modern day relationships like? What are weddings like today? What kind of statements do we set off by our marriages? We've just seen the wedding or the pre-wedding celebrations at Jamnagar. What is the messaging that came out from that? Let's take it from there and then move on and see what we can come out of this conversation. Joining me on the show today is Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj. She's a filmmaker, she's an activist. In fact, she fights a lot more for men's causes than women's. And she's founded an NGO called Ekam Nyay. There is Leher Kala. She's a columnist. We all read her in the Indian Express. She writes about society, lifestyle, culture. Shalini Singh, she's the founder of And We Met. That's a service that helps singles connect, who are looking for a lasting relationship, connect and find each other. There is a dating app, there is a website, there are all kinds of services that are there. But Leher, I recently read your article in the Indian Express, in fact, on the Jamnagar marriage and, the wedding and the messaging that it sent out. Would you share that with our viewers?
Well, isn't it? Because I saw the New York Times pieces on this. And everything about an Indian celebrating like this was prefaced with so many million Indians live in profound poverty, which is a fact. But that doesn't mean there aren't people who match them, word for word. And what was interesting, I thought, about the Jamnagar celebrations is that, I think richer Indians have become very they try to be very sophisticated and quiet, and they want to do things the Western way, which is, secretly and stuff. But these guys just opened their hearts out, and everybody was invited because they put everything online.
Yeah.
Every second we were watching on Instagram, on Twitter, the comedians were having a field day. So I felt it involved everybody. It involved a great show. And nobody but the Ambanis have the social capital to command the guest list they did. There's nobody in India or anywhere in the world, I think there'd be a handful, who could do that.
And also the role of Nita Ambani, you spoke that, we usually see the wives taking, especially in traditional families, feudal, patriarchal, taking 3 steps back. Yeah. But here she was very much in the forefront.
Background of Reliance, when Dhirubhai Ambani was alive, you never really heard of Nita Ambani like this. But now you hear more of Nita Ambani than you do of Mukesh Ambani, which I think is very interesting. He's the rare man who's willing to step back and let his wife take center stage, and she does it with aplomb, she does it with style, and she does it, with josh. So there's something cool about that, and they're true to themselves. They celebrated the way they knew how to, which is just have a massive jamboree inviting everybody. So I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, so we also need to stop being apologetic, I think, about success and wealth. A lot of it's seen as flaunting or whatever, but they have it. Everybody knows they have it, so they're just doing what they want to. Your first take from...
So while I agree that you don't have to be apologetic, I agree that it's up to them on how they wish to celebrate. I just saw it as more as a media hype. I saw it, you don't have to the news channel, there was a news channel, 24 hours was running the Ambani's wedding. There is much
Was it one of their channels?
I don't know. So what I'm just saying is that bothered me. And I also saw it more as, so they also focus, whilst they had a lot of guests, but they made sure that the media knew who were the business guests who came in. So if there was, Bill Gates was there, or if Mark Zuckerberg was there. I thought it was more of associating, business around this. And the second thing, which I actually wasn't aware of the pre-wedding rituals. So I happened to see an interview, on Vantara, what they have started, right? I saw that and I was very impressed, there was an interview on that. And then after 3 days, I was also scrolling, and then I saw Anant Ambani in his speech talking about Vantara. And for me, I was like, then I associated. I said, it's your celebration. It's not about what you've done. It's about you and your partner. Yeah, so for me, I looked at it like that. Yeah.
But first, you were not too much into the saga of the wedding.
No,
but,
I did observe. I don't think so. There's any Indian who would have
Not seen
been
it.
not touched
Yeah.
by the pre-wedding celebrations of the Ambanis. So I did see, Priya.
But to take away from that, we all heard Radhika's wedding vows, where she says, I want to be an equal partner or whatever. There is a whole lot of messaging in terms of, women's rights, women's issues. You're not just going to be the...
Time will tell.
Time will tell, you're so right.
I'll take it from when you said about Neeta Ambani taking the charge, which was not there when Dhirubhai was there. I have absolutely no problem with women taking charge. In fact, women should if they are capable. I think Neeta Ambani has played a very crucial role and she's a very smart woman. She's a smart businesswoman. Let's applaud her for that. So there's absolutely not a problem. What I really love about this family per se, and I would commend Neeta Ambani, she's out there, she's doing, she's achieving, but at the same time very culturally rooted. I mean, if you compare the Ambanis, Mukesh Ambani's family, Neeta Ambani, whenever they speak, there's a lot of humility, humbleness that's coming across. It looks as that, these kids are very, very culturally rooted. They respect people. So I really admire about that. And as far as the whole wedding and the pomp and show is concerned, Priya, I personally feel at a larger level, while not denying what Leher said, that even rich have all the right to celebrate the way they want. But I think weddings of this scale generally tend to put a lot of pressure on the average middle class families that this is what you aspire for. Even if your pocket doesn't allow, now the girls and the boys are extremely, extremely oriented on pre-wedding shoots, wedding shoots, ye kar lo, wo kar lo. But somewhere the whole essence of marriage I see missing, that it is a marriage, these are vows, these are promises that you're making for life. It's not about this fancy drama that marriage is. It's something that you are signing up for life. That's the only takeaway that I have.
I'd like to add to what you said. I think more than the pressure for the middle class, I feel the pressure for Anand and Radhika will be, my God, now you really have to stay married.
Oh, yes.
After you've invited the whole world. There's no easy exit out of this. Correct. So for me, that would be a...
And I hope there is no pressure, because if things aren't going well, it's okay to go your ways. I hope that they don't stay in that relationship just because they have not even the society, but the world's pressure on them.
World's pressure.
No, but that is actually happening, Shalini, because there is so much of pomp and show in marriages these days. There is pressure. There are a lot of people, or there are a lot of, couples in very, very tumultuous relationship who I have spoken to who say, yaar, लोग क्या बोलेंगे यार, everybody was there in the wedding, it was such a ये हम लोग वहाँ पे गए थे honeymoon के लिए इतने पैसे खर्च हो गए, now what?
I think, because we are looking at divorce as a label, the moment we start looking at divorce as a situation and not a label, things are going to change.
Absolutely. There needs to be, actually.
Which is what actually, the next question from this is how is divorce still such a, bad? Ek to there's pressure that you spend so much money, that you call everybody, how will your parents...
Any 27, 28-year-old is going to feel, that my parents have spent so many crores getting me married. Now, I owe it to them to at least stay married for 3 or 5 years, You can't leave within 6 months.
So, what is your ROI?
There is no ROI in this. So, I mean, this is becoming a huge problem because as a friend of mine told me about his marriageable age daughter, he's advised her not to marry. He says, first I'll spend so much money getting you married. Then I'll spend so much money getting you divorced. Then I'll, it's just going to be a nightmare. The mistake we make is equating money with marriage, it's staying married requires a whole different skill set, and money is just one of them, And I feel that at least in rich Indian society, I feel people get married for the party sometimes. They don't fully understand what they're getting into,
Even in middle class,
No, I think business dealings. They get married because of business dealings also.
Often they're dating each other, but they don't realize what it's going to take to really stay committed to a marriage for 2-3 decades.
So but why is a lot of breakups that happen or relationships that go bad, how many of them are for money, how many of them are for control? What is the reason for the...
There's no bifurcation, or I would generally I tend to not pass any opinion without any statistics as such. But if you ask about my opinion, Priya, there are endless number of reasons because of which breakups are happening, but money is certainly a very important reason. Money is not just a reason, very important reason, especially from the women's side now, during divorce, but it is also a very important reason while getting married. You know, if you look at matrimony sites, and a lot of people actually keep sending me these screenshots from matrimonial sites, if the woman is earning 2 lakh per annum, her expectation is not less than the guy earning at least 12 lakhs per annum, you know. And there are a lot of interviews also that are happening these days. So there's a lot of materialism that is there. I would not say it is not from the guy's side. Dowry is still prevalent, but women have understood it very nicely that they want a sorted life. They don't want too much of a struggling life. But apart from that, another thing that if I would, take away from our previous discussion as well is this whole idea of being, sandwiched between modernity and your cultural roots. A lot of breakups are today happening because the woman does not want to stay with their in-laws, while the guy would say that, listen, I can't leave my parents. So these are money and, this whole idea of not staying with the in-laws, I see as a major reasons for divorces these days.
I see the main reason for divorce is that women have the ability to tell men to bugger off because they have money.
Yeah, financial
the previous
independence.
generation stayed married because women had no options. The minute a woman has enough money, that's the biggest threat to marriage, women having money.
Is it?
To me, that's the changer. And that's you. If you see, by the way, the divorce statistics for urban India, they are no different from the divorce statistics in England and America. I'm talking about Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, where the number of women working in corporate jobs is almost the same.
But there's a meme also that floats, Leher, it's very curious, When a man earns, he thinks of, fending for his family and providing and taking care for his family. But when the woman starts earning, she thinks it's only her money and not really the family
It's so
money.
interesting you say this because just yesterday on our Instagram handle, on a story, we said, what is the one thing that you'd wish to ask on your first date but not comfortable to? And I can show you one of the responses. I'd like to tell him that my money is my money and his money is our money. I promise you. This happened. I think one should start, I want to come to your point where you said that if a woman is earning a certain amount, she wants the man to earn X more, right? I will bring it back to social conditioning because that is what, while we are young, we've heard ki bhai ya ladke kamaenge, they will earn, they will manage the home, tumko ghar chalana hai. So if you earn, that's pocket money, that's your money. We've just heard that from the day we were born, right? So I think it's high time parents start telling their children, hey, both of you are equal and it's okay. The boy, if you want to be a homemaker, it should be fine. You find a partner who accepts that. So I think and we're in the cusp of, should we do this way or what is right or what is wrong, right? So I think we need to find out, the peace needs to come within us. So like, for example, if there are women who are celebrated, professional women, so it's there, the men are either called henpecked, okay, or they are like, okay, he didn't have a life. We just love labeling people. And where marriage is concerned, it is much more than the 5-day celebration. The 5-day celebration is a lot of fun. And Leher, I think what you said, see, nobody knows what marriage is till you don't enter it.
True.
And it is about giving in, it is about compromising for the right things. You do it even with your close friends, right?
Or family.
Or your family, or even your manager who you don't like, or your peers at work you don't like. You don't like, you're still going and you're saying, okay, I'm going to ignore this person. Exactly. But when it comes to marriage or love, or the moment you say, I'm committed, the mountain of expectations that immediately drop between the two people, everything changes. So like, why do they say, oh, we were dating each other for 10 years, we got married and now it's over? Because that mountain of expectations, the moment the word marriage comes in, right? I mean, the mother-in-law comes in, the sister-in-law comes in, your mother comes in,
right?
Okay? And then it doesn't stop there. Then you're now married, so now children, when are you having children? oh, your wife goes to work and who you are looking after the children. It's a society filling it into your thing. So nothing
There
is
are a lot
easy.
of people who are actually moving away from marriage as well, both men and women.
Absolutely.
A lot.
So that's why Ran we met. We have it for live-in, companionship or marriage. It's totally your call.
Okay. Beyond that, there is a lot more, as Shalini very nicely said. There is a relationship that you have to live through. It's just beyond the 5 days, and that is where expectations come in. You made the point about financials coming in, but there is the extra family that also comes in.
See, I feel marriage will survive because there's no better alternative legally.
Live-ins now, people are
bring up kids, to have a situation
of
which
wedlock.
people are not able to leave too easily. Don't forget, it's not easy getting out of a marriage either, and sometimes it's a good thing because people work through it, and it's not like if you move on to another person, it's going to be any better. Chances there'll be some other issue somewhere there. So, but having said that, I think more and more we'll see this, as because we've seen this in the West, that people will have 1, 2, 3 marriages in a lifetime. Because, marriage was invented at a time when people lived till they were 50. Now people are living till they're 90, 95, So to spend 60 years with one person is a challenge for anyone.
To spend 60 years, we have seen that.
It's impossible. Yeah.
No, we've seen that, right? But I completely agree. I absolutely predict that, people are going to have minimum 4 long-term relationships. It's good, and let's just normalize
I want
it.
your statistics on it.
Well,
It's
again,
okay.
now we have dedicated dating websites for married people also. So, the world is moving to an absolutely different tangent. I mean, let's admit adultery and extramarital.
Married or married.
Yeah, there are dating apps
there are.
for people who are married.
But they're not Indian.
Yeah,
They're not Indian. But
But there is one in India as well.
No, there is one in India as well now.
they're not legally, they shouldn't be allowed.
No, but
Okay.
everything doesn't happen legally.
So,
but what I'm saying
it comes
is,
under the label of ethical non-monogamy. That's how, and
There
it's there
are-
on Tinder
So
as
there's
well.
a label for it also, and it's on.
there is now polyamory, there is now, I don't know how many times of relationships that are really happening. But I agree with Leher. I think there is no other institution that gives us stability and also sanity like marriage. I'm not married, but I know that any day the number of marriages that are successful in India are much, much more than broken marriages or divorce. And let's understand and accept that if there are children, marriage is the best, sort of institution to give them a stability and sane mind and bring them up in a very, very good environment. It's very important for, in fact, people to understand the kind of mental trauma, the kind of mental problems that people deal with when they see, either a divorce or too much of fighting inside the house and all of that. I think divorce is great. If people are not compatible, they should get divorced. But yeah, I also agree that I think marriage is something which is providing stability to people more than any other relationship. But yeah, live-ins are also happening. But
You also brought
I don't
up-
think Indian women are ready for live-ins, to be very honest. It's a blanket statement that I'm making, but I think somewhere
You'll be
Indian women are
surprised.
ready,
No,
but
you'll
other
be
families
marriage. They expect marriage.
No, you-
at the end of live-in, I see so many now cases getting filed. At the end of live-in, then they will come up with this fact that, okay, this guy was using me, this guy was exploiting me, I would want a marriage, he's not getting married to me.
It
But
depends
those
at
are not
what
live-in
age also,
relationships.
right? So I am seeing on And We Met that, women who are in their late 30s or in 40s and who've been in a couple of relationships before are not opting for marriage, but whilst those in their 30s are opting for marriage. But you also brought up a point about, I think we don't talk about what's good because that's not sensational enough, right? There are a lot of people, and I would say a higher percentage of people in happy, I don't want to use the word happy, in healthy relationships, right? But they don't talk about it because they don't see the need of talking about it. However, if you see in WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups and, in social media, it's only what is not people where things are not working out, they're so frustrated and they blurt it out. I'm part of couple of, I'm in groups where there are single women who are just stabbing men right, left, and center. Does that mean that every woman is pious and she's done nothing wrong? So, for me, it's very extreme that if you've had and also I think people need to move on. If you've had a bad experience, absolutely. it's okay. Yes, you've had, but move on and just go for the right person next time. So that's what I would say.
We really, really, as Indians, need to be taught how to move on, to be very honest.
Yeah.
And everybody
The
should be an
kind of-
entrepreneur. You should have an
Yeah.
entrepreneur mindset because things fail.
Yeah, things
No,
don't
but,
work
but the
out.
baggage, I agree, but you know, there is a whole lot of that comes with moving on.
Point to make on this. I think if a marriage has been pretty happy and successful, say for 10, 15, 20 years, it doesn't mean it's a failure. Just because it's ended doesn't mean it's a failure. But the problem is Indian societies, you got to go down to the grave. Only then is it a successful marriage.
Correct.
So that will change now that, you know, people will have long marriages of like 15, 20 years, maybe 2, 3 of them in their lifetimes up to 90.
Yeah, maybe a 1 year also. And
Yeah.
9
You do
months.
outgrow relationships, you outgrow each other. It's,
Yeah.
you know, so as you said, 4 relationships in a lifespan. But
I
think
remember,
as long
I'm
as people
remembering
don't
this
get judged.
whole idea by Mr. Alec Padamsee. He's an advertising guru, and he said, you know, there should be a marriage for only 5 years. And if the person wants to stay in that marriage, I think he's written a book also, something about it. Yeah, he says only if they, and it should be a contract. And if you want to renew the contract, then you stay for 5 years more, or you just end that contract and you get into a
I mean,
relationship with the other
Michael,
This is
is
person.
not
election year. So I think 5 years.
No,
is
you buy a white good.
one
and
nation,
you-
one election, one
But
marriage.
it's not for
The only
lifetime.
problem is nobody will renew it then.
Yeah.
That's the
Nobody.
problem. If you're given the option, you will take it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am sure.
And look at
very
how
sure.
much the lawyers will love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Actually, you know, Leher, it's interesting. I don't think so because, you know, when I would ask my dad, would you like to be with my mom again? And he would say yes, and my mom would say yes too. So I'm just saying is that there are two sides of everything.
But ask this generation. That generation is
But
conditioned
even
for a
in
yes.
this generation also, that's what I'm saying. There are people, you got to make it work.
So you have to make it work, and you have to not allow be judged. You know, a lot of the peer pressure comes from outside judgment, whether it is family, whether it is your own this thing. I think end of the day, the big takeaway message really is that relationships should be left to the two in the relationship.
And you should stop judging yourself also, I think. We
very good point.
overthink and yeah.
That is a very good point. But on that note, thank you so much for this very freewheeling conversation on marriages, weddings, relationships, what is there in the future. Some solutions have also been offered out of the box. We leave it to you to take them or not. But on that note, thank you for this conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.